Hello again. I'm sure that some viewers must have passed out with shock when I mentioned casually the other day that Boris Johnson's gadding about the world, first in Ukraine and then in Washington, as part of a plan to see if he can snatch back the key to number 10 Downing Street from Rishi Sunak, for whom, of course, not a single person has ever voted. Johnson's argument may be summed up as follows. He was voted in at the last general election, which does rather give his claim some legitimacy. Ordinary people like him a lot more than Rishi Sunak, which is probably true. And finally, the clincher. There is not the remotest chance of Sunak winning the next election, but at least with Boris Johnson there is a chance. A slender one, it is true, but a very slender chance is better than no chance at all. Especially since the alternative would be a Labour administration headed by the awful Keir Starmer. This is all bad enough, of course, but there is worse, much worse. In this morning's Sunday Telegraph is a piece by Liz Truss, which has all the appearances of an attempt by her to climb back up the pole and seize the premiership. I'm sorry to talk about such a distasteful subject so early in the morning, but it must be faced. The woman who trashed the economy less than 4 months ago seriously wishes to make a comeback. Her arguments in favour of being Prime Minister again are almost as good as Boris Johnson's. She says that the Conservative Party actually had a free election and chose her to lead the party and therefore become Prime Minister, which is undeniable. She points out that nobody voted for Rishi Sunak, which is also true. She says as well that she was determined to bring down taxes and that Sunak is very much determined to keep them high. She believes this will be bad for the economy and says that most people in this country, together with a lot of Tory MPs, agree with her and also want to see tax cuts. Again, probably true. Somehow, she has managed to wangle her way onto the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China, which seeks to coordinate international pressure on Peking. She will be addressing a meeting on this subject in Japan in a couple of weeks' time. In other words, just like Boris Johnson, she is doing her best to appear as an international statesman and hopes that people will compare her tough attitude to China with Rishi Sunak's lily-livered approach. Then too, she has the advantage over Sunak that her husband is not richer than the King of England, and she hasn't promised to release her tax details and then later refused to do so, as is the case, of course, with Rishi Sunak. I'm guessing that she hopes we will have forgotten that she appointed the weird and useless Kwasi Kwarteng as Chancellor, and that we will trust her to give the job to somebody more sensible, if only we will let her have a second go at the top job. The nerve of this woman is quite astounding, and I think she almost deserves to be made Premier again, if only for having more brass neck than any other British politician since the end of the Second World War. I give a few links about all this in the description to this video. Apparently, some people are worrying that she will actually strike a deal with Boris Johnson, and that we could see them return as a dream team. This prospect is so shocking that I think I must end this video now before any viewers start fitting or suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder.